Having a safe workplace is serious business. There are many laws and regulations in place that are intended to keep you safe while at work. It is up to you and your employer to follow these laws and regulations. Should your employer or another party, such as a shipper, receiver, or broker, encourage or try to force you to violate these rules, you do have ways to protect yourself. Whistleblower protection and coercion regulations are intended to protect you from retaliation if you refuse to violate a law or regulation related to health, safety, or security. Whistleblower protection laws are in place to protect you from retaliation if you report commercial motor vehicle, or CMV, safety violations to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, or FMCSA. You're protected if you testify before FMCSA or if you refuse to operate an unsafe vehicle, drive in conditions that may cause serious bodily injury, or violate a CMV safety law. Complaints should be filed with the OSHA office in the area where you live or work. You can find information online at www.osha.gov. A complaint should be filed within 180 days of when the alleged violation occurred. However, there are situations where the time limit will be waived. There are no special forms to use to file the complaint. The complaint may be filed orally or in writing. Upon receipt of the complaint, OSHA will begin its investigation. Within 60 days of filing the complaint, OSHA will issue written findings as to whether there is reasonable cause to believe the employer retaliated against the employee in violation of the whistleblower protection regulations. If the investigation confirms a violation, the employer will receive a preliminary order. The order will include, where appropriate, a requirement that the employer end the violation, reinstate the employee to his or her former position, and/or pay for compensatory damages. The order may also require payment of punitive damages up to $250,000. If the investigation finds that a violation did not occur, OSHA will notify the parties of the finding. A motor carrier, shipper, receiver, broker, or freight forwarder cannot coerce you to operate a CMV in violation of the FMCSR's, Hazardous Materials Regulations, or HMRs, or the Federal Motor Carrier Commercial Regulations, or FMCCRs, 49 CFR 356, 360, and 365 through 379. It is important to note the coercion rule located in sections 386.12 and 390.6 of the FMCSRs does not replace OSHA's whistleblower protections. Rather, they work in tandem with one another. Coerce means threatening to or withholding business, employment, or work opportunities, or threatening job action against you to get you to violate the FMCSRs, HMRs, or FMCCRs. The key to coercion is that a clear threat to the driver exists, whether implicit or explicit. These threats could include things like job termination, denial of subsequent trips or loads, reduced pay, forfeiture of favorable work hours or transportation jobs, and other direct retaliations. In order for a violation of the coercion rule to exist, 3 specific actions must have occurred. 1. The driver had been requested to perform a task that would have resulted in him or her violating certain provisions of the FMCSRs, HMRs, or the FMCCRs. 2. The driver communicated the violation that would have occurred had he or she performed the task. And 3. The driver was threatened or action was taken against the driver to get him or her to complete the task despite the regulatory violation. If any one of these 3 elements are missing from a conversation, then a violation of the coercion rule has not occurred. It's also worth noting, coercion may still have taken place even if the driver never actually followed through with the request to violate the regulations. So a driver may still file a coercion complaint so long as he or she was pressured to violate the regulations, appropriately communicated the violation that would occur if he or she did perform the task, and was subsequently threatened to complete the request anyway. If you believe you were coerced to violate the regulations described above, you may file a written complaint with the FMCSA. To begin the complaint process, a driver must file a written complaint within 90 days of the event. The complaint has to be delivered to the division administrator or state FMCSA office director where the driver is employed. It can also be filed with the National Consumer Complaint Database. When the investigation is complete, the division administrator will either dismiss the complaint or issue a notice of violation or notice of claim to the persons responsible for coercing the driver. All parties involved will receive notification of the final decision. The FMCSA says it will take aggressive action when a violation of the coercion rule is confirmed. This includes civil penalties and the revocation of a carrier's operating authority. You should now be able to describe the whistleblower protections that are available to you, discuss how you can file a complaint with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, if your whistleblower protection is violated, recognize coercion when it occurs, and explain how to file a coercion complaint with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA. Now it's time to take the course exam. This exam includes 5 questions. Be aware if you close the exam before finishing, your answers will not be saved. You may take this exam more than once. Your highest score will be reported. To begin the course exam, select Next.